Welcome back, guys and gals. Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday to you. Halfway home, guys. Just a day before the holiday weekend begins. Don't forget, guys, we're leading into that 4th of July holiday weekend. If you've been living under a rock the past few days, wake up. We got a holiday tomorrow, so today is going to be an interesting day. Welcome. Good morning. You know what time of day it is. 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Welcome back to your crude oil morning prep. We're going from the screen here in Los Angeles. My name is Joseph James. I'm a lonely old day trader from SchoolOfTrade.com. I'm providing a technical approach today. You're not here to see me, though. You're here to see my good friend Marty Errico. Marty's from Traders Audio, and he's been braving the elements, dealing with public transportation, leaving his house and going all the way down to the NYMEX exchange in New York City, right? Us screen traders, we got it easy. I'm here with Marty from Traders Audio. He'll provide us with the pit analysis this morning. Once again, my name is Joseph. Thanks for watching. I'm a technical analyst. I'm looking at charts. And of course, my job today is to start with a top-down approach. I'm going to start with a daily chart this morning. Look what happened over the evening last night. We're going to move all the way down to what happened overnight. And you know, we're trading the U.S. trading session, so I'm going to be analyzing London. If I was trading the London session, I'd be analyzing Asia. I'm analyzing London this morning as we anticipate direction at the open. See, I know if I can anticipate direction coming out at the open, right, anytime after 8 a.m., then I can trade in that direction and I can find those specific high percentage trading opportunities that are going to get me started here at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So my job is pretty simple. I'm going to open up some charts. I'm going to drill on down, starting at a daily to an hourly to a minute, and I'm going to be looking for those high percentage trades starting at 8 o'clock this morning. But you know what? I'm only a lonely old analyst, a technical guy here in the office. I'm always interested to see what Marty is seeing and hearing, right? Half the battle is what he's hearing on that trading floor today. Marty Errico from Traders Audio, he's provided us with our pit analysis this morning, looking at market direction, intermarket divergence, very important. We look at all the components that make up the energy sector of the NYMEX. We look at market internals, different option prices, and of course those often elusive pit session trading levels. Very important to remember out there, kiddos, there is a big difference between the electronic trading hours and the regular trading hours, and we're going to be talking about that today with my good friend Marty. Now, you've already heard enough out of me today. Bring on the charts, JJ. Let's get started here this morning. Let's jump in. I'm going to first begin here with a daily chart of crude oil. And this daily chart of crude oil is just a little bit of a teaser here, because we saw this big pop up yesterday. Again, if you didn't turn on any news, if you didn't look at any charts, if you had no idea what happened yesterday, we had a big old jump up. I think somebody said they were expecting higher prices though on Tuesday morning this time of day. I don't know. Go back to the YouTube page, go back to our blog, watch that video recap from yesterday. I swear we said something about rising prices on Tuesday morning. I'm kidding around with you, obviously. Of course we did. It was very easy to spot that coming a mile away on Tuesday morning. We were ready for that higher prices, buying pullbacks every step of the way yesterday morning and yesterday afternoon. So great job yesterday. If you were with us yesterday morning, you'd used the guidance, congratulations. You probably made some pretty good cash yesterday morning on crude. Now here we are. You might be asking yourself, Joe, we made this big jump up. First of all, how far can we go? And if we're going to sell short, how far can we sell short? Now, there's a few different ways to look at this price action on crude oil this morning. First of all, let's be aware of the day of the week of the month of the year. What month of the year is this? July. What happens in the month of July? Well, we've got people gassing up the station wagon, taking the kids on road trips. We've got small businesses that thrive in the touristy times, right, of the year, delivery services, airplane tickets. Guys, it should be no surprise that the summertime usually leads to higher demand of crude oil, right? Not only crude oil, usually leads to higher demand of other markets. It actually, amazingly, usually leads to lower gold prices. Kind of interesting how that works, right? While all the families out there are worried about going to Disneyland, they're not worried about buying gold. Very interesting, these seasonal aspects that we can use for these commodities. On crude oil futures, we know that we expect rising prices due to higher demand in the summertime. So this is natural. But boy, have we seen some technical clues over the past few days. Now on the daily chart, we find ourselves all the way up into this symmetry sell zone. We find our way all the way up to the 102.72 sell zone. We find our way all the way up to the top of that channel. Boy, a few weeks ago, we thought it would take a small miracle to get this price to push up to the top of that channel. But don't adjust your TV sets, kids. This is exactly where we are right now. So we sit now at the top of this range. What's next? Well, can we keep going higher? On this chart, it says probably not in the short term, even though we can see this 104 even, right? That's the most recent swing high that we can see. We've got another one way up here, but we're not going to worry about that just yet. 104 is clearly on the daily chart, a line in the sand that we know the buyers are probably shooting for. But we have a feeling, though, that this big pop yesterday probably going to result in a big drop today. Now, I might be eating those words, though, in a few hours. Don't forget about that. This is crude oil we're talking about. Okay, this is a market that can take your money and leave you crying in the corner, right? If you're committed to the downside today, we can't do that. We need to be open to selling short here coming off these highs. That will be the easy money. The tough money today is going to be if this thing, if we stall and then try to go higher, if we try to get greedy trying to buy these highs, this could get ugly. This could get really nasty. I'm going to show you another chart here real quick, the 4-hour, that's going to show you a little bit more clues. But just be aware, if this thing goes lower, this is easy money selling short this morning. But if it decides to go higher, we will expect to see that yo-yoing of price. What's the yo-yo of price? The yo-yo of price means 10 ticks higher, 20 ticks lower. 10 ticks higher, 20 ticks lower. 10, right? It's going to keep going higher, but it's going to drive you out of those longs by almost dropping on you before it goes higher. Whenever we buy into the highs of a bull channel, we expect to see that 10 ticks higher, 50 ticks lower. 10 ticks higher, 50 ticks lower. So it can really drive you nuts as you're trying to buy those pullbacks. Do not buy the highs, though, right now, right? Unless, of course, you like those hot air balloon rides and wooden roller coasters, if you like hanging over the side of the Sears Tower, right? You know what I'm talking about, you adrenaline junkies out there. So be careful buying those highs. Here's the 4-hour chart on crude. Now we're talking. Now we can see exactly why the price action stalled out in the short term. We can see we're right on top of that symmetry sell zone. And guys, this is the breaking point right now as far as I'm concerned. If we go higher, we can easily see now wide open space up to that 104. Another bull channel. This time around, though, a lot more information. Now we can see that wide open space up to 104. Also, very important here, you can see if we happen to collapse here. We have the A to the B up to the C. This is a channel reversal zone here at 140. Members, this is an advanced price structure. So we will expect, as soon as this thing tumbles, to be selling short, and I will use this trend line as our biggest clue today. Now, I want to give a little bit of a heads up on the dollar here as well. Before I jump down to a 60-minute chart, you might be thinking, well, Joe, how far can this go? How long will we expect it? The dollar is giving us a big clue right now. Look at the dollar index real quick, and look at how far we have to drop until we hit this trend line. I'm going to zoom in on a dollar 60-minute chart in just a few moments, but I want you to keep that dollar in mind today, because when that dollar hits major support, this crude oil is going to hit major support as well. So we're going to stop selling short once that dollar hits that major support. Let's move over now to an entry chart. On the entry chart this morning, I'm looking at a 60-minute chart first, but let's go look at a 60-minute chart first of the dollar, and I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. This dollar trading in a bull channel right now. As this dollar trades in a bull channel, we know that dollar support will mean resistance on euro, resistance on gold. But what didn't we see yesterday? We didn't see a negative correlation between the dollar and crude oil. So we do not expect to see it again today. I'm going to expect this dollar will continue to try to push lower down to the lows of this channel. You can also expect that to lead, when that dollar is moving, that's going to lead to either higher or lower prices on crude. What am I using the dollar for today? The biggest clue the dollar will give us today is market personality. If I see this dollar jumping higher, or pushing lower, I'm going to know it is time to get to trading here on crude oil futures. So use that dollar index as your guide today. As you can see, the 60-minute chart of the dollar, we are way overbought. But more importantly, though, we can begin to see areas of support below us. Now we know where we're going to be trading short to if we get this price to tumble. Keep in mind, I've got that bull channel here. 98.72 would be an excellent spot here to sell down to and then start to buy here again. So once again, big pops often equal big drops, but we don't quite know if we're going to get that big drop until we see it show up on these charts here today. So be patient. Don't force it to the downside. We're going to wait here and see what happens. Now, where's my exact levels, Joe? Here are my exact trading levels I'm going to use today. This is going to be the most important information I'm going to see this morning. First of all, we can see the London trading range, very narrow range here coming out overnight. A narrow range overnight oftentimes suggests that we have indecisive price action. In other words, the buyers don't have confidence to buy the highs. The sellers don't have confidence to sell the lows. We're going to trade sideways. Until we break out of this range, in other words, until we get above the reversal zone, I'm going to sell this reversal zone and bring it back in. I'm going to buy this reversal zone and bring it back up. More importantly, above 101.54, I am buying pullbacks. Below 172, I am selling retracements. There are my line in the sand right there. So if you're wondering, Joe, when does this party get started? The party gets started back to the upside with a pullback trade above 101.54. Now remember, if you're a member of mine, don't forget, what do we need here? We need a candle to close above that reversal zone. We need a candle to close below that reversal zone. If we close above it or below it, we are then bullish above, we are bearish below the remainder of the day. So we know inside of this range, I'm buying lows, selling highs, buying lows, selling highs. I am avoiding the middles. Stay away from that middle. You can see we've already blown right through this 101.33. Again, don't get me wrong, guys. I want to get short on this bad boy just like you guys do, but this thing may take off to the upside here once again. I'm telling you, I'm going to be heading down to San Diego, California this afternoon. I'm going to be distracted the rest of the day. Most of the other major money managers, most of the other smart money out there will most likely be distracted. There may not be anybody standing in these buyers' way as we finish up this shortened week. We've got a no day tomorrow, a half day today. We've got a big day on Friday. Well, a big small day. It's going to be low volume on Friday, but we got a lot of news crammed into today and Friday. Guys, I could easily see this thing going in any direction right now. The big pop tells me look for a big drop. But at the same time, though, we know that we can't stay married to that short side. We've got to be open to whatever this price action tells us. So look for that market personality. Now remember, our blog has everything updated this morning for you. Head over to Crude Oil Squawk. You can get a link right on our website, guys. Head over to sidewaysmarkets.com, and you'll see a link right here at the top of that page at Sideways Markets. That will take you right to the Crude Oil Squawk and Prep. And every morning at 7:30, 7:20, I've got the charts updated for you here so you can trade right along with me this morning. All right? Love your feedback. But, guys, I want to hear what Marty's got going on. Because you know what? I've only got some charts to worry about over here. Marty, how are we doing over there? Great to have you back today. Thanks so much for being here. Are you seeing the same thing that I'm seeing? Are you thinking buying here today? What are you guys seeing over there?
Well, good morning to you, JJ. Well, let me tell you today, a little bit more volume down here on the trading floor, at least today, in respect to at least the amount of people here today. Alrighty, well, first and foremost, let's talk about what happened overnight, right? So we're not blind to the fact that we saw a big run-up last night up to about 102.20 around like 11 o'clock last night. I was sitting there with Jeffrey. We were talking. We saw that big run-up. So let's just talk. Here, let me just try to get the screen here real quick. Let's just talk firstly about inventory levels, inventory numbers, API numbers that hit the board last night. APIs came out with a huge draw. Again, we all know the American Petroleum Institution numbers. That's called the API. They're released in the morning, in the evening on last night. So on a Tuesday night, we get API numbers. Every single Tuesday we get them, right? So we saw the numbers come out, and they were extremely bullish across the board. Let me just name them out for you. So we saw one, crude oil numbers. We were looking for 2.7 million draw. We get a 9.4 million barrel draw. 9 million barrel draw on the API numbers last night. Gasoline, we were looking for 440,000 barrel build. We get a 180,000 barrel draw. And then in the distillates, the heating oil, we were looking for 1.1 million barrel build. We get a 2.3 million barrel draw. Okay, so we get draws across the board in the API number, and if that's any indication to the DOE EIA numbers that are going to be released at 10:30 today, we're going to see tremendous draws in this market and end up trading higher. The Cushing numbers came out with about a 340 barrel build, 340,000 barrel build, but still, overall, the commercial crude comes out with a huge draw. Keep in mind, it's the first of the month as well. It's the first full trading week of the month of July, and we're getting jet fuel buying. We're getting cruise liner buying. We're getting called EFP orders. They're called exchange for physical. They come in and they buy the front months. They come in and they buy the outer months. So you're looking at the September. You're saying, why is so much volume in September and December? Because we have the physical delivery EFP orders coming into the market, causing this crude to trade higher. So let's start off. Again, we talked about the inventory numbers today. We have numbers at 10:30 and 12 o'clock in the energy complex on the NYMEX. Keep in mind, crude, we're looking for about a 2.3 million barrel draw. We're looking for a build in gasoline of about 611,000, and in the distillates, we're looking for a 1.2 million barrel build. So if we get draws across the board like we did in the API numbers, which is likely, we could see crude react a little bullishly. Yes, did they price it in already? Yes, they have priced it in already, but still, we could still possibly hit that high up at the 102.20. All right, so this morning, obviously, we see markets trading higher here across the board. You see the green arrows. We got crude, Brent, RBOB, heating oil. Let me just do a couple prices for you guys. RBOB right now, currently just trading at about 281.51. Heating oil up at 294. Even Brent crude holding levels above 105. Even the Brent WTI spread. Let's go over to the supply-demand differential and the spreads. They are all very bullish this morning. The Brent WTI spread down to 382. That is very, very bullish. Calendar spreads as well this morning as we look at the July, the Augie to SEP, Augie to ACH, Augie to Novi, and DEES. They're all in contango in a big way by about 15 to 20 cents. So very bullish this morning when we look at the supply-demand differential and the spreads. Currencies this morning here. We always turn to our dollar and we try to see if our dollar is trading higher or lower. Right now the dollar is trading lower on a net change basis for the day. You can see it faded off that high of 83.93 half. Right now we're trading at about 83.62, so the dollar fades off the highs and starts to trade a little bit lower. Crude's now trading higher, so we do have another check on our box called the risk-on, risk-off differential. And risk-on, risk-off sentiment and the currency differentials are working bullishly for crude, obviously, and they are pushing prices higher. All right, so another big reason for the run-up, besides the inventory numbers and the unrest over in Egypt, we have our one of our major levels that we broke and settled above. So we closed and settled above 99.20. That was a very important level. As soon as we broke the 99.20, we traded all the way up to the settlement number of about 99.5 yesterday. So we broke that all-important level of 99.20, right? So now we close and settle above 99.20. So now we didn't have many other levels that were in the way. So you can see now 102.20, 102.18, 102.11. Those are all R3 levels that are very important. We went to R3 even yesterday. So this is another factor that we want to look at. All righty, guys, let's take a quick look at some levels here. First, let's talk about natural gas, actually. So natural gas, look at this. We have an inventory number today. We're looking for 85 BCF. That's at 12 o'clock today. Inventory numbers hit the board. You can see we finally broke out of our range, the high end of our channel, and over the high end of this bearish wedge, we fall up above the 362, and you can see now they buy it up. They're slightly selling it off just before numbers, but I think we'll have a bullish number today because the expectations are 75 BCF, or 85 BCF, I'm sorry. Alrighty, guys, levels for crude. Alrighty, guys, we're talking levels now this morning. So, on crude, what we got here, we're currently right now trading at about 101.40 at the moment. Again, this morning we turned to our levels this morning, and we see that crude closed and sells the day at 99.45 yesterday. We're well above that. Yes, we know that. Open interest this morning, 257,187, squeezing out every short that's even in this market recently. So open interest decreases by about almost 20,000 contracts in the overnight session, showing us that there are shorts getting squeezed out of the market. Of course, they can come back in and take some profit, but open interest is lower. Net change yesterday was 77 ticks. Today, implied volatility 24%. Pretty high in volatility, huh? So we could see a little bit of a fade off the high prints, but if vol starts to fall this morning and volatility comes into about 21, 22%, that will be bullish. Now, as I look at skew on the options board here in the pit, I'm looking at higher strike levels. The higher the strike level go, volatility is about 22 to 23% around the 101, 102, 103 strike level. So real quickly, we'll go over these levels, and I'll tell you guys what else was happening in the pit. Previous high yesterday, 99.87. 99.87. The low was at 98.44. Today, your daily pivot is 99.25, which we are trading above at the moment. I got resistance above at 100 even 06, 100 even 68, 102.11, and 102.51. Support down below, I have 97.44, 96.87, and 95.88. So there you go. In the pit, the last couple of days, you've been hearing me say all week now that we've been seeing a lot of targeting where they pegged that 102 half strike level. Again, I was talking about the fact that they bought 100 calls to the upside. They bought 101s. They bought 101 halves. They bought 102s and 102 halves. So they place a lot of money up to those higher strike levels. And if you go back and listen to the recording, I have been talking about that. We have been seeing that 102 half level being targeted in the short-term weekly options and also the monthlies. So in the pit, we still see paper net long, some larger locals still a little net long. Again, trolling those JWRT, all those guys, they're still a little net long. The smaller locals, they always balance out by the end of the day for the most part, but some of them are net long. Again, as I mentioned, paper and dealers are net long as well. And like I mentioned also, we have been seeing a lot of physical delivery buying in this market. Those EFP orders and those TAS orders that I speak of every day. We can talk about what they mean in another time, but EFP really quickly stands for exchange for physical. So we have physical delivery buyers coming in. That's another reason why they're permanent buyers. They take physical delivery of it, and their supply-demand numbers are looking rather almost finished here, if you will, for their buying, unless they go above and beyond. So we'll be continuing to watch this week their physical delivery buying, as we have a half a day in all of our other markets today except the energy complex. We closed at 2:30 floor trading today. All right, natural gas. So we just talked about those levels breaking above that 362 level and getting up to about 365. That was all important. Now the inventory, now natural gas is in the hands of the inventory numbers. So we will continue to keep an eye on inventories today, and that's going to be the main driver of natural gas today. So what to look out for? Pit session high from yesterday, 366.30. Your pit session low, 358.70. We close and settle the day at 365.60. See that prior settle? Now daily pivot today is going to be at 363 half. Once again, that's 363 half. Once again, is going to be your daily pivot today. Right now we're trading at 361.10. All right, resistance above 368.30. 371.70, 378.70. Support down below, I got 360.70, 355.90, and 348.30. Once again, that's 348.30. So big strike levels that they've been targeting in the pit, 355, 365, and 375 calls, and also the 380 and $4 puts. So it looks like that we could possibly get up to that 380 level and start to turn around as they have a lot of interest here, guys, in that $4 level. So again, guys, these are your levels for crude and natural gas in the pit. Again, we're going to be watching for more physical delivery buying, and we're also going to be keeping an eye on, obviously, price action and activity across the board, because this is a very important day today. As we did break above $100. If we can get a close and settle above $100, that will be pretty bullish, but we'll see what happens. Again, right now, as I mentioned, we're around that 101 half level as we trade just an hour before the opening bell here in New York. So with that, I'm going to throw it back over to Los Angeles, and we're going to go talk to JJ over in Los Angeles. Alrighty, guys, have a wonderful 4th of July. I will see you guys next week. Have a wonderful day, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'm thanking you guys today. We'll talk tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful day.
Awesome job, Marty. As always, great to hear from you, my man. And thank you guys for being here, too. Thanks for a great week so far. Boy, it's always bittersweet to wrap up a week here early. We're so fortunate as traders to have the luxury of being able to get these markets every single day. And we love the holiday. We love taking time off, but I'm sure going to miss trading crude oil here Thursday and Friday this week. It'll be great to take a break. Hope you guys have a great 4th of July weekend. I want to remind everybody out there to come out and see us every morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, right, outside of all holidays. We'll come back here for a Monday edition, Monday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So have yourself a great, great holiday weekend. Be safe out there. Wear the helmet and the sunblock. And, of course, don't forget, you can find all of these charts we've talked about today, as well as all of Marty's levels today as well. And today's video recording can be found right on the Crude Oil Squawk blog, which you can get by going to sidewaysmarkets.com. All right, guys, have a wonderful morning. Don't forget what Marty said. Pitt's going to be open until 2:30 today. You guys had a full day trading crude today. Watch that dollar correlation and be aware of that API inventory number today at 10:30. As Marty said, if they're expecting a draw in inventories, we could see these prices keep jumping right now. So keep an eye on the price action. Have a great day out there. Thank you so much for coming out and seeing me. If you're a member of mine, the newsletter will be up here momentarily. You'll see all the charts there as well. And we'll catch you guys on Monday morning. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.